I'm going to be building the AutomobloxConnector piece. I'm going to be moving through pretty quickly. You can pause as necessary. We've spent a lot of time on this in class, so I really am just going to be hitting a little of this and that. So make sure you're in the Automoblox project folder, which I am. Once you're sure of that, we're going to do a new part. And the way I'm going to tackle this Automoblox connector piece is I am going to draw one quadrant of it, and then I am going to extrude that and add all the features before I mirror that quadrant for my total part. So I'm going to create a new sketch on my XY plane, and I'm going to very basically draw the quadrant that you see on activity 5.5b, part 2, page 4. This line here, I'm just going to put my dimension in here so it is to scale, 1.150. Now I'm just going to draw the shape of the part that's there. And I don't have to be too exact. I'm going to put my dimensions in afterwards. I have a closed profile. So now I'm going to put my dimensions that I see on the paper. They're all there, so if you can't find them, look again. Going through very quickly because most people have already done this. Just to get others caught up. Looking at the paper, 0. Overall dimension I already have on there. So I guess I need this dimension right here. I still have 2 green lines, so I need something else here. Oh, there it is right there. From here to this outside line. There we go, fully constrained. I'm going to put some fillets on there. We have 3 different fillets going from point 1 in the upper left-hand corner to 0.05 in this corner to 0.04 down in this corner right here. All set. I've got everything fully constrained, everything's dimensioned, looks good. So I'm going to finish that sketch. Now from here, I'm going to have to go to my dimension drawings. All the other dimensions that I need are on my Automoblox dimension drawing handout. This is page 4. I'm going to extrude this profile. I look on the sheet, I can see this is kind of the fat part of the connector. And again, I'm only doing one quadrant because it is mirrored twice. So the thickness of this, bottom drawing right hand side, I can see it's point 0.5. Now I have to add some stuff. Say I'm looking at this is the front, so I'm going to go to the back of this part, and I'm going to look at my drawing. I can see in the backs I have in this quadrant 1/4 of a rectangle that is extruded in here. So I'm going to put a new sketch on this back, and I'm going to select a rectangle that will do this job here. So I'm going to go to rectangle, down arrow, 2-point center does the job. So now I can dimension the rectangle that I see in the drawing. The overall length of the rectangle. I guess that dimension isn't there. I see that dimension, they actually give me dimensions from the edge of the rectangle to delete this one. Instead, I'm going to put from the edge of this rectangle to the edge of the part on my drawing, bottom view, left-hand side, 0.34 is how far that is. And I can also see from the top of this rectangle to the top of this part is 0.235. That looks good to me. I'm going to finish that sketch. Now when I extrude this and I select the cut, all this extra rectangle that is down here won't matter because material is only going to be cut away. So having that big rectangle there isn't a problem. I have to find the depth. Bottom drawing, left-hand side, the depth of this is 0.33. That looks good. I'm going to work on the front of this part. Front of this part, I have kind of the smaller shape in here. So I'm going to just create a new sketch and start drawing it. So this is a little confusing, but we're going to talk about it. I don't want a two-point rectangle. This time I want I'm sorry, we do want a two-point rectangle, and I'm going to make that rectangle in here. And when I look at to decide what this distance is from the edge of this rectangle to the end of the part, I'm going to have to look in my drawing at the overall dimension of this outside and the overall dimension of this rectangle I'm creating. And once I do some math and take 0.78 height minus 0.67 height, I can figure out that this distance is 0.055. Same here, 0.055. I'm going to have a little fillet on here. Top view 4 times an R of 0.05, 5. Up to this corner, put that fillet in there. And I'm going to have to do the stuff that's going on in here. And the way I'm going to do mine is, I guess I'm just going to draw another rectangle in there. I'm going to draw a rectangle that comes somewhere in here. I don't know exactly where it is. I don't want to decide yet. I know it goes to this center. Looking for dimensions, I can see in my top view, middle of the drawing, that the distance from this line to this line is 0.16. That's fine. That overlaps a little bit. That's fine. There's nothing that says it can't. I'm going to need a fillet in there. It tells me 0.05 fillet. Although before I do the fillet, I have to get rid of this line here. Get rid of that line. I'm going to trim. Trim. There it's gone. Now I can go and do the fillet. 0.05. Nice fillet. Again, this overlap thing going on here, it's okay. There's nothing that says we can't do that. So I'm going to be okay with this. Finish the sketch. What I want to do with that, I want to extrude it. What to extrude? This thing right here, and only this thing. I don't want to include this or this outer edge. Add material. How far do I do it? Let's see. Upper right-hand side tells me 0.47. Okay. Next thing I want to put on there, I want to put the square that's cut in this end. Now I'm only doing one quadrant, so I have half this square. So again, looking at my dimensions, I am going to, I guess I'll just use a regular 2-point rectangle. Make sure I don't snap to anything in particular. I can see that from this edge to this top edge, no, that's not the dimension I'm saying. I'm saying from this top edge, bottom edge, the height of this overall rectangle is 0.4. Really, I don't like the way that dimension went on. I'm going to back that up and try it again. Take this one off. I'm going to start with this edge to here will be a 0 dimension. And then on the upper drawing right hand side, I can see that this to this is 0.18. And I can see that my overall width is 0.47. And that just leaves me with the height of this thing. I see the overall height is 0.48. So I'm going to say that half the height is going to be half of 0.48. So 0.48 divided by 2. I'm constrained. Now all I have to do is extrude it. Extrude this rectangle. Which way? No, the other way. Add material. Nope, subtract material. And the distance for this one is 0.47, which that's that dimension. Okay, that looks good. The last thing I'm going to do before I mirror this thing is I am going to put those slots on the top of this thing. So I'm only doing in one quadrant, so I'll just have to make one of them. Here we go. It looks something like this. I'm just going to place it on there and put dimensions on it afterwards. Look around for the dimensions. 0.0. How thick is it? It appears to be 0.06 thick. Oh, that wasn't the dimension I wanted. I'll make that go away. From this edge, let's try that again. I want to know how big this thing is. There we go. That appears to be upper right-hand side, 0.06. Distance from the front edge of this part. 1. Let me try again. Yeah, there we go. That is 0.04. And the last thing I see is that the dimension from this over to, it looks like, oh, it's actually the inside edge. I'm going to have to take that one back. I want to go from this edge over to this outside edge. Oh, dimensions, there we go. This outside edge to this edge. And it's on my upper drawing, 0.18. Fully constrained slot, finish sketch. I'm going to extrude this. What do I want to extrude? This thing. I want to add material, I want to subtract material. And if I look on my paper, it tells me the depth is 0.11. However, it seems like it goes through, and I know on the part it doesn't go through. So I believe this depth should really be 0.011, the very small one. Just a little bit on there. That looks pretty good. Now from here, I'm simply going to mirror this to get my entire part. So I have spent all my time building the quadrant, and now by using my mirror pattern, I can say, what features do I want to mirror? I want to mirror, let me try again. Maybe I have to select them individually over here. If I can't get them all here, I can select them by just coming down the row in my browser and doing it. What mirror plane do I want to use? Let me turn my part around. I guess I'm going to start with this mirror plane. Okay. Now that I have this, I want to mirror this again. Mirror. What do I want to mirror? I want to mirror all of this stuff. And my original mirror. What mirror plane do I want to use? I'm going to have to mirror the underneath side of this part. Does that look good? Yep, that looks good. I'm going to change this to ABS and change my color to that green. Grab a window on there, click back to green, check. And there it is. That only leaves me with the clip to build on here, but I'm going to save that for a future time. So again, this is the AutomobloxConnector minus the clip that comes off of here. And it doesn't have to be exact. You can make it just do as much as you can. So with that, I am going to save it, call it connector with my last name, and we are done.